Hey guys, it's the Carnation here, and today we are back again with another video. And today's video is going to be on the man, the myth, the legend, Joseph Joestar. Now, currently, I'm in the middle of part 4. I've been saying that. I'm so lazy to watch JoJo, dude. Part 4 is not the best. Currently, Joseph Joestar is my favorite Joestar right now. I love him. I like him more than Jotaro. I like him more than Josuke. I've heard people love Giorno, but I do not know about that yet, so let's talk about him. So of course we have the 3 stages of Joseph. Old Man Joseph, Young Joseph, and super old Joseph from part 4. I don't know if it opens in other parts of the manga, I'd have to look that up. But for now, this is 3 parts we're going with. So let's talk about Young Joseph. Now, Young Joseph debuted in the first episode of Battle Tendency, and the best opening of the JoJo series. And apparently as a kid, Joseph was said to have stronger Hamon potential than Jonathan. And Jonathan in that part was said to be pretty strong as he beat Dio, so we think Joseph's pretty strong. Joseph also had survived a plane crash and saved Speedwagon. He also saved Smokey from some corrupt police officers, and he can guess what you're going to say. So Joseph's pretty cool. He also defeats Strazio. I'm very sorry if I mispronounced his name. He also defeats him in a fight with a Tommy gun, tons of grenades, and eventually burning him with the Hamon. And sorry, tells him like, hey man, there are people better than me who are going to come. You gotta go get him. And Joseph's kind of confused. And then he finds out that Speedwagon's alive, so he goes to get Speedwagon. Speedwagon, of course, is being held by the Nazis and von Stromhelm. And they're awakening one of the Pillarmen. One of the Pillarmen awakes, and he just walks through a vampire, showing that Dio from the last part isn't even that big of a threat now compared to the Pillarmen. So I like that. Like, it indirectly shows how big of a threat they are, as like Jonathan would have got destroyed by a Pillarman. So I like that very much. I like it. And it shows how strong the Pillarmen are, as they can move their body in any way, shape, or form, and can even go into other people's bodies and just walk through you and absorb you. So then Joseph shows up. He also does a little drag to try to sneak in, and it doesn't work, and it's kind of funny. It shows his little comedic nature. That's why I really like Joseph. He's the kind of a comedic trickster, I guess. And he sneaks in, and he fights the weakest Pillarman. I forget his name. It's really hard to say. But he defeats him in a very lucky duel. Von Stromhelm blows himself up, try to kill the Pillarman, and then the Pillarman tries to jump down the well with Joseph. Joseph, of course, defeats him, turns into stone, and we find out later that the Pillarman's just fainting death, so he's not really dead. But I do think Joseph killed the Pillarman off screen after part 2 ended. Because why would you not kill him? It's just, make sure all the Pillarmen are dead. And then Joseph finds out. And then he finds out that there's another Hamon user named Caesar Zappelli. Now, Caesar is the descendant of William Zappelli. So basically, like, William was the granddad who gave his life for Jonathan, and so they're basically kind of connected that way. And so they become rivals, I guess. Caesar seems to be more adept to using the Hamon. He seems to have more techniques than Joseph, who seems more brute strength, really. And they go fight the Pillarman with Caesar's friend Mark. Mark dies, unfortunately. It's a very sad death. F in the chat for Mark. He about to get married, which I knew he was gonna die. It's kind of cliche how they said that, so I don't like that little bit of the story that much. So Caesar tries to fight the Pillarman, and he just gets washed. Caesar just gets thrown away. Jojo goes to fight the Pillarman. Jojo does much better than Caesar. Joseph is able to hit Wamu and take out part of his face. So Wamu lets Jojo start banging with his Hamon. Because his Hamon's so weak, it doesn't even affect Wamu. So then Wamu hits Joseph with a divine sandstorm. He survives because of plot. And I think he hit behind a pillar, and Joseph starts crawling away. And then Wamu chases him, and ECDC and cars outside, and Joseph says, hey, if you give me a week, I'll beat you. So this is really cool, okay? We get to see that Joseph is good at bargaining, and at this point, Joseph's just trying to say anything to get out alive. And so Wamu says, okay, I'll give you a month, 30 days. Meet me at this little coliseum. And just so you don't run away, he puts a poison ring in Joseph, so he'll have to kill Wamu to get it. And then ECDC does the same thing. Now Joseph has 2 poison rings set to expire in like 30 days. So dang, now we got a time crunch. We're under time. That's cool. That's actually pretty good. And so then Joseph and Caesar go to train in Italy, I believe, which is part of the Axis power. So bad guys. And they go train with Lisa. Now Lisa is the master. And me personally, I immediately knew that Lisa was Joseph's mother. I feel like that was very obvious, especially when, and it just confirmed when it showed that Lisa was the baby that Irena saved on the boat. I'm like, okay, yeah, cool, okay. And it makes it so weird when Joseph peeks on his mom and in the bathroom, bro. It's so weird. And so Lisa is automatically shown to be much stronger than Joseph and Caesar instantly because Joseph tries to go fight him. And at this point, I think Joseph and Caesar are around the same level of power. And Lisa just like whoops Joseph. He's like, oh, you can stand in water. That's so cool, dude. And puts the mask on him. And then she throws him down the oil tower. They spend like 6 days, like a couple days in there trying to climb up. They get out. And then they start the hammer training with the other two masters. I do not remember their name, unfortunately, because they weren't that great of characters. And they didn't do anything to stand out. So they train for like about 28 days later. And then ECDC comes for the redstone. The redstone, of course, is what Cars needs to become the ultimate being, which he does later on in the part. And so ECDC fights one of the masters, and he basically one-hits him. He takes out his lungs, and he's dead. He then fights Joseph, and Joseph defeats him, aside from ECDC's brain, which takes over Suzuki. And then we see Suzuki grab the redstone. Of course, Suzuki's being absorbed, being controlled by ECDC. And she sends away the redstone somewhere else. Joseph, Caesar, and Lisa find out that Suzuki's been possessed, and they kind of have a little standoff. Joseph chose his nature where he's not really willing to hurt an innocent being. As when he goes to punch Suzuki, he just pulls back. He's like, okay, no, I'm not gonna do that. And then him and Caesar do a little tag team move and get ECDC out, and he burns in the sun. So then they gotta go get the redstone, and they're stopped by some Nazis. You know, Nazis are good guys in the story, as weird as it is. They're the good guys. It's so stupid. So Nazis are actually the good guys, and Von Stromhelm appears to have survived. He says he can hit harder and like move and maneuver quicker than the first Pillarman, and Car's like, he's nothing but a child. So Cars attacks him. He tries to get the redstone, but of course Joseph stops him, and Joseph is going to fall to his death. Cars pull Joseph down with his blade on his feet to try to bring Joseph to his death, but then Caesar shows up, and like here we actually see that Caesar and Joseph are like buddies. But of course Caesar's not going to show it. As Von Stromhelm's like, we gotta become friends. How do y'all know that? You must can be like best friends. And she's like, no, only Joseph would do something so stupid, so of course he'd do it. And like, but they're like really buddy at that point. And then later on they find out where Cars and Wamu are hiding. So Caesar's like, okay, let's go. Everyone's like, okay, yeah. Joseph's like, no, because Joseph's extremely tactical. He's an extremely smart fighter. He says, no. Why don't we wait until nighttime? Because daytime they would expect us to go rush them. So they must have traps. Caesar, of course, gets mad, and we find out Caesar's backstory about how his father sacrificed himself to save Caesar, even though he didn't know who he was. When Caesar was mad at his father for abandoning him, when in actuality he was trying to protect the world from the Pillarmen, and that's a really good scene. Joseph finds out that he's been ignorant to Caesar's whole motive for doing this. So then Caesar tries to go fight Wong. He does good, but unfortunately he passes. Joseph goes, and there's 100 vampires between Lisa and Joseph. Now I feel like they actually would have been able to defeat the vampires, Lisa and Joseph, because I feel like that's how potent Lisa was, and especially Joseph when they're completely ready. So I feel like they definitely could have done it, but they don't. I don't know. 100 is a big number, I guess. Who knows? And then they said, okay, meet us at the thing tomorrow, because Lisa pulls out a bluff that there's a bomb on the stone, and if you kill them right here, right now, then the bomb's gonna go off, and you can't be the ultimate being. So Lisa stays with Cars along for the night. Joseph goes to get the redstone, and here we get confirmation that Lisa's Joseph's mother. He still doesn't know this because he's, I guess, not the smartest, but whatever. And they go fight at the Coliseum. Now Joseph and Walma actually have a really interesting fight. They have a chariot battle, and halfway through, Joseph's chariot gets destroyed because he doesn't pick the tactical weapons. And here we actually find out that Joseph's not as physically strong as Jonathan Joestar. As Jonathan Joestar, like, he defeated Dio without any helm on. He defeated when Dio and him fought in the house. Jonathan Joestar was able to defeat Dio by burning him in a house, and this with no helm on. This is just pure physical strength. Joseph, however, has trouble cocking back a crossbow, and of course Wamu picks a smaller crossbow, so they start fighting. Wamu hits Joseph in the side, and while it should have pierced him, Joseph is able to survive it because his maneuvering, I guess? I don't know. It still hits him in the side. Joseph takes hits. And then he pushes Wamu, and he's actually able to get Wamu's arms just limp, basically, because with his hammer. So Wamu closes his eyes, and they keep on fighting. It's a pretty good fight. It's actually really dynamic. It's probably one of the better fights in the series. Joseph comes out on top, and he gets Wamu's head off when he finally cocks the big crossbow. And then Wamu is super honorable. Joseph drinks the antidote. Wamu is super honorable. He doesn't let any vampires try to go attack Joseph, which shows how strong like Joseph is. Like when he's not tired, because Wamu, when he's almost dead, is still able to kill a bunch of vampires. So that's why I feel like Joseph and Lisa could have beat those 100 vampires. And so then it's Lisa versus Cars. Of course, Cars cheats and he reveals his true character of just wanting to win, and he'll cheat no matter what. And that made me so mad. And then once again, it shows Joseph's caring side, how he's carrying Lisa, even though he doesn't know that she's his mom. She's just his sensei. And so he's carrying her, and he's trying to fight Walma, and he's trying to fight Cars at the same time. Of course, the Nazis are trying to kill the vampires, but there's just so many vampires. Even with the EV lights, it's hard to defeat them all. Of course, Joseph's almost out of hammer. He hits Cars with a hammer kick, I believe. But no, he ties the rope around Cars' leg, and Cars falls onto the spikes. So Von Stroheim says, "Okay, guys, get the EV ready. We're gonna turn to stone." And then when he does that, it turns out that Cars had the mask and put on the red stone, and he becomes the Ultimate Being. Ultimate Being Cars is basically the strongest character ever. He can do anything an animal can, but just 100 times better. He can't die, and not even from the sun. So then Joseph runs away. Of course, at this point, Speedwagon, Best Girl is there. Joseph running away. I don't know why Smokey is following him. We also get more confirmation on Lisa's backstory, how her husband was killed by one of the Dio's henchmen that somehow survived to the 1920s or something, and she killed him. But because she killed the henchman was actually a high-ranking military officer, so she had to run away, changing her name to Lisa. When her original name was Elizabeth Joestar, I believe. Where's my Lisa part? Come on, man, give me that. I would love to see a Lisa part, dude. Okay, and then Joseph's running away from Cars. Cars is chasing Joseph quite easily. He can just fly now, faster than any bird. And of course, Joseph gets a plane, and Cars shoots wings at Joseph, turning into prawns. But this kind of shows how Joseph's kind of cool under pressure, and he's able to kind of evade, or like keep on driving the plane, and he crashes Cars into a volcano. That doesn't work, and then Joseph gets his hand cut off. And once again, this is still Joseph trying to keep cool under pressure. He can't keep cool under pressure as well as Joestar can in later parts, but he still does quite well. And then they launch to the sky as Cars went to go for the finishing blow on Joseph, and he actually hit the red stone. Of course, Joseph didn't even know what he was doing. The red stone just kind of gravitated towards Cars' hand. And at this point, Joseph becomes extremely, he lies to Cars, I guess, as Cars trying to fly away, and then Joseph's hand that Cars cut off gets launched up to Cars and stabs him in the neck and distracts him. And then Joseph's like, next you'll say, "Was this all part of your plan, Jojo?" And Cars says it, and then Cars gets hit by all the rocks, and Joseph's like, "You're damn right, it was part of my plan all along." And Cars gets launched in space, and Joseph's like, "It really wasn't," but I'm just saying that to make him mad. It shows that Joseph, as smart as he is, doesn't plan for everything, and sometimes he does get lucky, as that whole encounter was luck, the way he beat Cars. And then Joseph marries CZQ, gets a robot hand from Von Stroheim. And part 2 ends. He has a daughter with CZQ, Holly. And between part 2 and 3, he has a daughter with Josuke's mom. He has a son with Josuke's mom, which I'll get into that later. And then part 3 starts, and that's when we go to Old Man Joseph. Now, Old Man Joseph is a really cool old guy, okay? So first off, he's 69, and he still looks pretty good. He doesn't look as good as Lisa or William Zeppeli did at 50, but that's because he wasn't really training with his ham on very much. He kind of slacked off, so it's understandable there. And Joseph is a cool guy, so he shows up, and at this point in time, Jotaro has locked himself in a jail cell because he doesn't understand stands, and he said, "Anyone who gets near me will get punched by my stand." And so he brings Abdul there, and Abdul shows that he also has a stand, or actually Jotaro calls it a demon because he just doesn't know what it means. And then eventually Joseph says, "Okay, I have a stand too, and I can take spirit photos to track where enemies are, make maps or whatnot." So he shows a picture of Dio. See that star right there? Apparently it's on the back of every Joestar, even though that's not how birthmarks work. Like, that's really stupid in my opinion. But he says like, "Dio stole the father of my grandfather, your great-great-grandfather, and so we're gonna go kill him." Okay? I know, they don't say he's gonna kill him. He said, "Yeah, so I just came to tell you all that, so be careful," or whatever. He stays for a couple days, and then it turns out that Holly has developed a stand, but because Holly is not a fighter at heart, I guess it's really dumb explanation. The stand will kill her, which is so stupid because there are other characters they've been series who get stands, and they aren't fighters, but they're perfectly fine. Like the freaking little gray kid when he first got a stand, he wasn't a fighter, but it's Stan didn't kill him. So they have to go to Egypt to fight Holly. Along the way, they fight a bunch of other Stan users. Joseph gets some kills on them. He defeats some Stan users, such as the one who made him and Abdul magnets, or the one who put a little parasite on his arm. The Empress, I believe her name was. And eventually they get to Dio. Now, before that, Joseph leaves. Joseph tries to beat Darby in gambling, and Darby cheats, but so did Joseph, so it's kind of karma. And Darby, of course, gives the iconic, "Oh, hey, Mr. Joestar." Dude, I'm sorry, I love that line so much. It's so funny. And so they fight the Sand users. Abdul and Iggy die to Cool Ice. Polnareff kills him, and Polnareff's about to face off Dio, and then Joseph, Catcoin, and Joestar go. Yes, they were led by one of Dio's vampires. And they all go to fight Dio. Dio shows the wide. They don't know that, of course, but they run out immediately. They immediately run out of Dio's palace because they can just sense the murder's intent. And then they fight Dio with Joestar and Polnareff in the back, and Joseph and Catcoin in the front. Now, once again, we get to see more of Joseph's phenomenal thinking. As after Catcoin dies, he tries to warn Joseph about Dio's stand, how he can stop time. He shoots the clock, and Joseph finds out. That shows how smart he is. Joseph also covers himself and Hammond with purple hermit, as so Dio wouldn't attack him. And unfortunately, Dio catches on to this, and it doesn't work. But that once again shows how resourceful Dio is, and how he was the best one to fight Dio because he had Hammond to defeat Dio. And then eventually Dio just stops time and throws a knife at Joseph's neck. It basically leaves him almost dead. Now Joseph's not completely dead, I think, when Dio throws a knife, but he's like definitely like on the verge of death. And then Joestar and Dio fight. They're fighting. Polnareff saves Joestar, and when Joestar is beating Dio, he goes to Joseph's body and drinks all of Joseph's blood. It comes like, and then at that point, Jonathan's body stops resisting Dio. I guess that's a Jonathan's thing. Like one tiny bit of Jonathan's soul just resisting Dio. It's weird. And now he's like stronger than ever. He uses the Wado. He stops time for like 9 seconds. So Wado. That's a really cool effect. I like that. And then eventually Joestar learns it too, and he defeats Dio. And then he brings Joseph back to life as he realizes that if he pumps Joseph's heart and he can get the Joseph's blood from Dio's body, he can bring Joseph back to life. Now I think Joseph should become a vampire as it's Dio's blood and they have cool eyes, but it's whatever. You know, jojo. And then Joseph does a really funny thing, once again showing his comedic side of part 2 Joseph. And he uses Purple Hermit to make the room dark. Of course, the doctors can't see it, so it's only for me, you, and Joestar. And he talked about how it's Dio reincarnated. And then Joestar's just about to pummel him. He's like, whoa, Joestar, and it's me. And then he's like names all these random facts, I guess. And he's like, okay, yeah, it's you. And they kill Dio, and that's it. And then I want to say like 11 years pass or something. I don't know. That's one thing about JoJo that I don't like. The fact that they skipped 50 years between part 1 and 2 and 2 and 3. They really wasted a lot of time, and now they had to kind of shorten the parts. Time skips, even like backtracking. Whatever. And then we go to part 4 Joseph. Now, I don't know enough of him because I have not seen enough of him. But he makes me mad because apparently he cheated on Suzuki. And I'm sorry, but that's not something I see that Joseph would do. He's honorable. He even in part 3 says, I may be a coward. And I may have strategically ran away from fights, but I've never abandoned a fight. I've always continued it. So I don't really see Old Man Joseph as someone who would do this. Why would you do this, Old Man Joseph? But anyway, it's fine, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed my video about why I like Joseph Joestar. I think he's my favorite JoJo right now. Number 2 is Jonathan. I know, it's weird. People normally hate Jonathan, but I like Jonathan. So that's Joseph. Joseph's a really cool character. I don't know if he pops in at any other parts between part 2, 3, and 4. I don't know if he did in part 5. I know he could have, because that's in the part 3 era. But I don't know if he did. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and maybe I'll see you in the next one. Peace.